Sometimes you don't have any money or you don't have any time. Usually you don't end up with all of your resources that you need to continue to stay on an incline for your preparedness. But you generally want to stay on your incline. You generally at least want to be doing something to be getting better prepared for whatever may lie ahead. Because when that time comes, if you've ever been in a situation where you were underprepared, you really regret that time that you know you could have used, or that money that you know you could have used, and having not spent that on something that would have helped you then. You just got done with having a whole week's vacation, and now the projects you need for right now are not done. So how do we manage this? How do we continue moving while many of our resources are limited? Well, there's a good thing on this too. The first step that I'm going to talk about is something that is super cheap, maybe costs a few dollars, but you probably already have everything that you need in your home. More than likely, you do have everything you need in your home, and chances are you have the little bit of time that it will take to do step one. Everybody spends a little bit of downtime somewhere, whether you've got a 5-minute break at your work, whether you've got the time it takes you here to use the restroom. Chances are there's a little bit of time that you're sitting on the commode and waiting for activity there, and you can use that time to think about something, do something. If you don't have a writing surface in there, bring in some other flat surface, some type of a board or something like that, a clipboard if you have one. Just find some type of flat surface that you can put across your lap. Pen and paper. That's what you need on this. You need a little bit of time to think, pen and paper, because that's our first step here, is we're going to get organized. And we want to figure out what we need to be doing. What is our list of projects that we need to be doing, and we need to also take note of the time, the energy, the cost, and possibly the due date for these projects. If you know the cost, great. If it's zero, mark that. If you have no idea, probably leave it blank. But I would definitely have at least 4 columns on here, and probably grouping these, if you have multiple sheets, or if you at least want to use corners of the paper, trying to group them where you have high cost items in one area, high energy items in another area, high time items in another area, needing all the resources in another area. But take notes on that, and the cost does not need to be exact. It's great if you can get it exact, but just get a rough estimate. I need to repair the old shed. It'll probably cost me less than $10,000 to repair the old barn, the old shed or whatever it be. So mark it as $10,000. But figure out your to-do list and due dates, if there is anything applicable on that, if that helps you to do that. I would also mark a priority as well. If there are higher priority items, put them up closer to the top of your list on these things too. And try and get your top priority and important items done first. Now, time and energy too. I wanted to mention that difference. There are times when you have something that may take only a few minutes to do, but you really need all your thought energy there to do it right. So that would be a high energy but low time item. Time, on the other hand, maybe it's something that doesn't take a lot of energy, but it just takes a lot of time. You're going to sew up an old handbag. That takes some time to get everything out, but you can do it in your sleep just about. High energy, low time. Maybe it's learning a quick skill. Maybe it's, learning how to sew. Maybe it takes you 5 minutes to learn it, but you got to have your mind ready to wrap your head around a new task. Cost is how much dollars you're going to spend on that. Or other resources if you need to allocate something else. Maybe you want to learn how to build a brick wall and you've got some bricks in your yard. Well, you might need to allocate some of those bricks for the learning. Alright. So, some examples, of projects would be, planning procedures. Take a look and see, hey, if this happened, what's my best way to handle that? Come up with some of those plans. Those are projects that you can do, is plan these procedures. If you've got time, that's something that's time and energy. It requires a lot of time and energy to do those, but the cost is next to nothing. So if you are short money, that's the time I'd be working on planning my procedures. Learning skills, that's also next to no cost. Unless you need a certification on that skill, then chances are this is the information age. There's tons of websites, tons of platforms that you can learn from. Even some of the educational platforms, a lot of times they'll allow you access to a lot of them for free. You don't have to go to a college to learn stuff. There's all kinds of ways to learn stuff. Takes a little bit of time, mostly energy with that. To build preps is going to take more time, a little bit of cost for the materials, more time, and some energy possibly. I would say about a medium amount of energy, but more time than anything else. So if you've got lots of time, but you're short money, that's the way to go. Getting preps. Now, here's another thing too. If we are going to purchase them from the store, do we have all of our resources? In that case, we can save some money by getting bulk foods from your bulk foods aisle, where you're paying for no packaging at all, and you're going to bring that home and go through the process of canning that or putting that in Mylar, whatever you choose to do. So getting those preps, that would be the way to do that if you have the time as well. If you don't have time, then get pre-canned foods that you don't have to repackage. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but you're still building up on that. And if you just really don't have a whole lot of money at all, but you've got time, gardening is a way to go with that. So just make up wherever you're at. Do the best that you can with that. Doing drills, that's something that probably is actually better off with not as much energy, because you're going to be trying to figure that out on a worst case scenario. Probably doesn't require much money at all either. It's just a matter of time. So if you've got time, that's the time here that you can try to do drills and make sure that you've got everything in order for that. Thank you for watching.